Welcome back to normal proceedings. This week's video going to be carrying on with the strip down and clean up of the car. So the last time you saw me working on the car, I removed the rear axle and refitted that, all fully built up. Some of you may have noticed that I didn't actually put any of the little rubber boots on the rose joints for the panhard bar, and that's because I don't have the right size rubber boots for the panhard bar. So I've got those now, so I'm going to get that done, and then I'll probably start work on stripping down the front suspension components and getting those all properly built up and the brackets and stuff under the car painted. The other job I've got going on at the moment is working on brackets for the handbrake. So obviously now I've got the rear axle made up properly, I can actually build a working handbrake. I've got some bits of that done already. So the handbrake cable is routed up through the boot and comes in through that hole next to the fuel hard lines. There is a rubber boot that's going to sit in there as well. That then comes down to this bracket, which has an adjuster nut that sits in it, and then these currently unfinished brackets for the actual handbrake lever. So that all needs some work. They're just for mocking up purposes at the moment. They're all going to be obviously trimmed in a nice shape, but the cable currently is rubbing on there, so there's a few bits need to be done there to get that working properly, but nothing I hadn't anticipated, so that should all be sorted probably sometime in this video. Tonight though, it's Friday night, I've got nothing better to do due to lockdown, so I'm going to get under the back of the car and get these rubber boots on. So for anyone unsure what I'm talking about, this is the panhard bar. It's rose jointed at each end, and those rose joints need some little rubber boots on them to protect them from the elements. So I'm going to take this out, put those on, and then put it all back together. And there we go, complete with boot. They don't look quite so cool, but they'll last longer like that. It's a street car, it's got to last. Oh, there is one amazingly ugly bracket. Bad Obsession Motorsport guys will be feeling a little faint looking at that, I think, but for what I was needing to try and work out, it's going to do. So the lever bolts in between those two pieces. Obviously there's loads of excess at the top here, and then you can probably just see the bolt heads down there, bolts to the tunnel at the back. Oh. So I don't have a sheet metal brake, so that's 1mm steel sheet that I've had to bend just sort of freehand, which is why it's a really horrible, ugly shape. But I needed to do that just so I've got something that I can bolt the handbrake into, so I can actually make sure that the whole thing is going to work. So the next thing is going to be bolting down the adjuster bracket and that handbrake lever bracket, so that I can actually make sure I can get tension onto the cable and apply the handbrake, which, having had a little bit of a play with it in its sort of loose mocked up form, I think might be more difficult than it sounds. So yeah, I'll get that bolted down. It's probably going to be tomorrow now because it's getting late, and we'll see what happens. So working on the handbrake again now, and coming to an issue where I can't get enough tension basically on the cable. So I'm going to swap around the bracket for the adjuster, just flipping around 180 degrees. I think it's going to buy us enough extra tension to be able to get this thing to work, but we'll find out in a minute. Okay, so I think we've got this sorted. Flip that bracket around 180 degrees. Got a temporary bit of wood in there to act as the stop so the handle doesn't drop too low. That also stops the ratchet from dropping down when you press the button, so you can actually use the ratchet mechanism. And that's going to obviously be changed. I think that whole bracket's going to be changed though. It's just going to be doing for now for these mock-up purposes. So at the moment the handbrake is off, and you can see I can push the car back and bring it forward again. Pull the handbrake on, and I cannot push the car back. Even pushing from up here, yeah, that's going nowhere. So I think that's going to do for now. That's the handbrake mechanism working then. I do think maybe that one of the handbrake adjuster things in the drums isn't quite set up right, so when I come to do the brake pads on the back, I think I'll pull the disc off first, just have a quick look at those, just make sure they are correct but in terms of the positioning of the brackets and that layout, that is all absolutely spot on. That is going to work, so I'm glad I got that sorted and worked out. I'm probably going to change that handbrake bracket at some point, but for now I just needed something that worked so that I can apply the handbrake, so I'm happy with that. We'll come back to that in the future. For now though, let's move on to something else. Okay, that's the front wheel off and car up in the air. Just a couple of bits I need to do under here. Primarily it is sorting out the roast joints. So this one needs a boot on it. This one needs a boot, and also the brackets painting. And that one in there needs a boot and spacers. So start stripping that all down. The other thing I've just realised is I ordered some longer bolts to do the steering link with, and a couple of other little bits and pieces. They haven't turned up, so I'm going to have to put these ones that are slightly too short back on and correct that another time. Okay, that's one of the tie bars off. Got to paint this up. It's just a bit battered, but it's all good. Just had a sand back, bit of paint on there. Mask that end off first. Then I'll refit it with the new rose joint with the boot on it and some new poly bushes. Okay, so that's everything pulled apart. Just need to take these. These bushes out, which are proving to be a pain. Got in a bit of edge primer, just let that dry a bit, then put some black on it. And I've just remembered that these rose joints have dust seals built in, so don't need to put any boots on those, which is good because I didn't order enough. I was lucky. So just need to let that dry, get some black on there, let that dry, and then reassemble. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to try and get these bushes out. That's what you do when the bushes won't come out. No, I said I wasn't going to put a boot on the track control arm on, but I found more boots, and it goes on really nice. 2 dust seals has got to be better than 1, right? And there we have it. All back assembled with the red poly bush, protective boots on every rose joint. Looking good. So, the only thing missing, I think, is some brakes. By the power of YouTube. Oh my. Those calipers look amazing. And yes, I've painted the entire disc black because this disc is a bit rusty. I think it's okay, it's just I don't want it rusting anymore, especially putting the calipers on. I'll probably change the disc before actually driving this in anger, but it's just something, gets everything in place, so I can make sure everything fits. But those brakes, oh, they look amazing. So I decided it would be rude not to try the lower offset, so more poke pair of the Team Dynamics that I've got for the front, and see what that looks like with an arch. And talk about fitment. Very pleased with how that's looking. Okay, so that is the driver's side done. Time to do the same thing to the passenger side. So again, wheels off. Need a cover there, and the cover over there. Need to paint this. I need to replace the bush with a poly bush. And of course, fit some awesome foot pots. Rather than make you watch all of that again, let's try a bit more of that YouTube magic. There we have it. All built back up with the new brakes, 4 pots on. blue bushes, new boots to the rose joints. All good. So I'm just going to chuck the other ET15 wheel on, get it back down on the ground, and that'll be probably it for today. So there you go, that's that side done as well. That's it for this week. As always, thank you for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell next to it to make sure you get notifications on when all our future videos come out. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.